came in. At night they couldn't handle it, but then I have, these are light shades from or covers from like a ceiling fan. It fits perfectly on it, and it protects it enough. And this is when it's in the ground or in my raised beds. You'll come by my yard and you'll see all of these all over the place because they're perfect. They don't blow away in our crazy wind, and they give enough protection from the wind. And it's like a little mini greenhouse. And it's a cheap way if you don't have a greenhouse or cold frame.
Do they stay underneath that?
I keep them underneath and it's usually a little after Valentine's Day. They can be outside with this, and then when they start poking up and getting too big, by that time it's warm enough, the sun's getting longer, it's warm enough, and I have fresh lettuce growing that way until about mid-June when it opens. And the ones that I have in containers, I move when they're in May, I move in the shade because they're big enough, but some of them that I didn't bring today, they're about this big, they're growing in bigger containers a little earlier.
Check your microphone.
Okay.
Should be on.
Hear it now.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well,
Knock on wood.
I'll give you this one. Sorry, technical difficulties.
We'll switch it out, huh?
This is my wife's category.
Why I'm asking this because I saw on YouTube or someplace around here, I don't remember, where they took the 2 gallon, or not 2 gallon, the milk jugs or soda bottles and just drilled some holes in it and stuck that down on the top of it, and it stuck down into the dirt a little bit so it wouldn't blow off, and that's what I was curious.
Well, this is, I don't know if you've heard, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
Because, no, that's the way to do it. It's just here the wind blows them, but there's a way that I do grow with the milk jugs. It's called winter sowing. And I'll get to that in a second.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead.
Oh, no, that's perfect. I love it. There's just so many, like right now, the crop to be growing is garlic. I wanted to get it planted, like I had my mom's funeral, so I'm a little bit behind, but hopefully by this weekend my garlic is, and I've got a lot of garlic to grow. You break it up like this, put it in the ground. I found if you put it where it's going to have more sun. I've been growing it, this year I grew it last year, grew it on the west side of our house, and there's a fence in the house. It doesn't get enough, it needs more light to get big. So, I had success, I'll have more success growing it where it gets more light, more sunshine. Let me think. Okay.
What is the depth of it? How much soil do you need for garlic?
For garlic, you don't need that much. It's just that I didn't bring the hardneck garlic, and you can tell the hardneck garlic will have one of these things sticking up in it, and it has to have cold in order to grow well, to vernalization to grow, while the soft neck doesn't need it as much. But it's just if you get it in the ground, you're going to have, instead of a container, you'll have less chance of having it freeze. It's better in ground than in the containers outside if it's getting cold. So, but again, I like raised beds, and the older I get, the more I like them. Yes? You can, and the ones that are really big are elephant garlic. They're a lot milder, but I'm going to be trying to grow some this. I've never grown elephant garlic just because I haven't.
Buy them by seed from like
I'll buy them from seed. This year, I'll tell you, Basha's has had the biggest, I look at the outside, and when the outside has these really big, this is so fun. I spent a couple hours doing this. When it has really big pieces like that, that's what I want to grow. And I haven't had any problem. It hasn't been organic, but it's grown just fine.
Off of just that little piece, how many heads can you grow?
One head.
One head off of, so
Each clove will turn into this,
okay.
or smaller if you don't have enough light. Or another thing is that what you put in the soil, you'll want to have, your NPK. If the nitrogen will make the leaves grow real well, but thank you. I know, I always have,
And the nitrogen.
I have a little song in nitrogen for great leaf growth, but if you have the phosphorus, high phosphorus is going to have better root growth, and then the potassium. Did I get that switched?
I can never remember which is which, but one is for flowering and one is for root.
Root.
Yeah.
You want
Potassium's for flowering.
Good, I had it right. Okay. Pardon? Just higher. I mean, I like putting, bone meal helps. So does, I had this written down so I wouldn't forget.
blood meal?
Blood meal has more nitrogen, I think. But in the middle of this, I'll shout out what it is. It'll come. It's there. It's just my filing system is weird. Okay. And if you want to try some garlic and bring it home, I also like. You can plant things in the ground now. For the soft neck garlic, if you put it in a little pot, it'll grow green. Green shoots, just the regular shoots. The scapes are usually the big things that have the flower, but just the shoots have more vitamin C and more antioxidants than garlic. And like I said, it's green. It's good.
So can you cut it and keep them and just let them keep growing?
And you'll get several harvests before they say, "Oh, I'm tired. I can't do this anymore." But you'll get several harvests. So,
Janie,
yes,
do you have to water them in winter?
I don't let them dry out, but it's like once a month. I just check the ground. If it's super, super dry, you'll want to get a little water on it, but
You don't want it soaked.
you don't want it super, super soaked. It's just if it's like my raised beds, I'd have to do because they drain more. But if it's in the ground, usually I don't. It depends on the year. It depends on, if we get some snow, we're going to be okay. The other thing too is a lot of times the ground's frozen. Then I don't worry about it because if I can't move anything, I know there's moisture in it, freezing. So, okay.
Does that affect the growth, or does that help it grow back bigger?
Does the what?
The green?
The green will make it grow bigger. And like with onions, the more green you have, the more layers, so the bigger it gets. And same way with each little piece of green is going to be growing a new bulb. So that's why you want at the beginning to have a lot of nitrogen to get that growing in the spring. Oh, I'm glad there's people who have done this who know and are nodding their heads. I appreciate that. Okay, one of the things we can grow now is kale. My husband used to say that if you cook kale in coconut oil, it made it easier to slide into the garbage. But that's because I found he didn't have the right recipe and the right variety. Baby kale is a whole different thing. Adult big kale, some kale Takes 45 minutes to chew and swallow. That's not food. That's fiber. That's not food. Sorrel is another good one. It has, to me, it tastes like a cross between, like green apple and, I don't know, it has a lemon a little bit. Really good. But the stuff that I have growing outside now, kale, it's getting really big. Swiss chard is doing really well now. We have mild enough winters here that if it's covered, it's going to grow. Whether it's a cold frame, and I had some pictures, so someday I'll do a PowerPoint, but that means I'd have to learn something else.
Chard that I grow bitter.
Heat,
Okay.
usually
Same thing as
heat.
the lettuce,
Yeah, if you grow it in the winter,
yeah. Winter.
delicious. Cilantro,
Green iceberg.
I don't grow iceberg. No, I'm sorry.
Grow butter crunch instead.
I grow,
Crunch is right between lettuce and iceberg.
this is butter crunch here. Some variety of a butter crunch. I can't remember which one.
So you don't know if iceberg grows good here or not?
You can grow it. It just takes so much longer. A lot of water and
Nutrition value.
flavor.
See, I like the flavor.
Well, when I like my favorite lettuce to grow is Jericho lettuce. It handles the heat better. It was developed in Israel. Super good for our area. That's the one that lasts the longest into the summer. But my grandson, he just turned 13 yesterday. When he was little, he hated salad, he hated anything, until I was growing it indoors. And then I'd hear his mom say, "What did you put in your mouth?" "One of Grandma's leaves," and so he would go and he would just, the taste is better. It just is. Okay, do you guys know what a cold frame is? Basically, it's a box with either plastic or glass on top that you can grow during the winter. The first time I tried this, all I did was stick rebar in, put boards in, and I had a big old piece, I had some glass that I'd gotten from the thrift shop for $10, put it on, and I was amazed at all of the things that I could grow all winter long. I'd have to move it a little bit if it was too warm. With 60 degrees days, I'd definitely take it off because it'll cook, but it's so fun. Like I said, if I could market enthusiasm, I'd be a millionaire. I get so excited about this. You can have, greenhouses, or have you seen the low tunnels? It's just basically hoops that are about this high, plastic over it. Sometimes people weight it with just with soil. I did that one year, and again, cilantro grows great in the winter here if it's protected a little bit. I'm trying to think what else. There's a lot of cold weather crops that, most of the stuff in the cabbage family.
Got another question.
Yes.
Can you grow cilantro and garlic in the same? So we've got just one of those metal watering troughs, a smaller one.
Yeah.
Grow cilantro and garlic together in that?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there'd be any reason why you couldn't.
Because I've learned,
Yeah.
I've been told that there's certain stuff that you can't grow that's not. Okay.
Well, it's like, I don't like growing, these are Mediterranean plants, except for the pepper. If you look at the place in the world it comes from, those will grow together, has about the same water requirements. Some things, if they have too much water, basil needs a little more water than thyme does, so I don't plant those together. I might here, because I was just trying to get plants into a pot, dug them up out of the garden and put them in. The herbs, you can be growing. And I'm going to go back and forth a little. Some things you can grow indoors. I grow them outdoors during the summer. Sweet potatoes, if it's in a container like this, you would not get a big sweet potato. But, except for the ones that, the leaves are edible. I keep thinking they're high in A and K, C, trying to think what else, but free greens, I mean just, oh. And the way I do them,
So is this, comes back every year, or you have to?
this
keep it
comes
aside?
back every year. My peppers, and I'll show you with my peppers. What did I do with my scissor? Well, I may do it later. I cut it so it looks like this is a banana pepper. And it looks pretty sad right now. I haven't cut the roots yet, but I'm going to overwinter these in our house because they'll grow, you know, the ones that I did last year, I got a bigger harvest from those peppers this year.
They gotta start, the roots were
Ex-
established, they gotta start.
Exactly.
When the comes, then they're ahead of the game.
But this sage, my thyme, what else?
Oregano.
Oregano, I leave that in the ground and then it comes back like crazy. Yes?
So you're talking about, you mentioned about growing them indoors.
Mm-hmm.
What do you use for lighting? Where do you get your lighting?
Okay, well, it helps. If you can grow them in like a south-facing window, as long as it's not too cold. When they get really cold, they'll get fussy, some of them. But like this unit here, way back in the behind, these are usually $100. They were at Cal Ranch, 75% off with all their seeds starting stuff, so they were $25. That's how I get things. I'm the queen of cheap. I am not ashamed. And usually I'll have a box underneath too, so if I have them close to the light as possible, at least for seed starting. Let me grab a few here so I can explain. Usually, well, I've got some next to my bed, so they come on at about 6:45 when I get up, and they go off at 10 at night. And they're,
Harbor Freight makes some pretty nice little LED lights for $23.
Thank you.
They're like 2 foot long.
I was going to mention it. You know, and that I have some of those on, I've got a 2 foot by 4 foot tall thing that I have a lot of lights on, and I have several of those on it too. Yes?
I have a question. I always try to grow lettuce during the winter, and I get, a ton of them growing, but then eventually the soil gets white mold on it, and then I just dump it. Why is that happening?
Part of the reason, well, you'll notice these were getting mold on them when I started because I didn't have a heat mat underneath it. And when it's cold, the mold grows better. I will use these as an example in a second. You notice this fan here? If I have a fan on them, it helps prevent the mold. Also, I didn't do it with this soil, but usually if I'm growing indoors, I take my great big sheet pancakes or sheet pans and turkey cookers, fill them with soil, put it in the oven, and I let it cook. Oh, there's a certain time you should, but I put it in until I remember it's in the oven, and then I have to take it out. But that will kill any pathogens, it'll kill the mold and stuff. And when I do that, I don't have a mold problem. Between that and the air movement, takes care of it. Yes? Oh, usually about 400. Yeah, I just put it on high and then it's usually about an hour. But like I said, half the time I'm doing other things and all of a sudden my husband said, "What are you cooking?" "Dirt!" And then I have to get it out. Having ADD is very fun when you forget to do things.
We used to eat mud pies as kids, so.
That's true. I wanted to show you some of the, you have your green lettuce, but there are so many, I don't know if, let's see, Marvel Four Season has a real pretty color. Prize head. This is a head lettuce, not quite like iceberg, but you might like that one too when it gets bigger and has the stem that's a little crunchier. They can be used landscape. I mean, they're gorgeous. I love in the spring, I'll have big containers out in front of my house with lettuce that's come up, volunteers, and it's so pretty. It's just, I like lettuce. Yes?
One thing with the colored lettuce, if you're growing it indoors, it may not be the same color because the sun's rays are what make it turn that color.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want a really fun experiment, when you're doing that, take it from the inside to the outside, and in a few days, you'll see it start to turn those reds and purples. And people will think it's dying because it looks almost brown, but it has to have.
Yeah, it has to have the UV.
With the LEDs, it won't do the same thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, it wants the straight UV.
Okay, I've got some. These are some sweet potatoes that some of the sweet potatoes I've grown in big containers are a decent size. They're not as big as if we had a lot of, I think they'll get bigger if I grow them in the greenhouse. But when I need to plant them, because I just picked these not too long ago, all I do is, and I will just clear this part. Here we go. I just put them in the dirt like this, cover it up a little bit, and
Do you slice them like you do regular?
heavens no, I just, very easy. That's what I love about sweet potatoes.
How you start, if you can get one at like Walmart or Bashes.
Well, when I start the ones from Bashes, they don't grow as many plants. What do they call those? Slips. Thank you. I used to think my husband, if he can't remember stuff, he thinks it's Alzheimer's, and I've always been that way. Can't remember the name. Can tell you a lot about it, but I can't remember the name. Anyway, it's so easy just to throw it in. It'll grow up slip. I break it off, put it in water till that gets a good root. Then I put it in the soil. The first year I ever tried growing it, I just put one in the soil, and I didn't get it. Got a lot of green, but I didn't get any.
Where do you get the little?
This I grew. This is.
So don't bury it all the way, just let it stick it out?
Yeah, I leave a little bit, so it's just kind of right on the top, maybe. And I'll leave this so you can see. And it makes it's so easy when you do that. Just a little bit on the top maybe, but I keep it damp, and pretty soon.
That whole process take? Like, would we start this now to plant in the spring, or?
I would start in January otherwise, if you start it now, you'll have a lot of sweet potato slips growing that you'll have to plant in a pot, and then you'll have a lot of leaves to eat, which is not a bad thing. They can attract aphids though, so you may have to, and the snails, like I said, these have been outside, so the snails like them, poopy snails. And it's starting to get cold, so the leaves they don't like the cold like some of these plants do. Boop, 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 boop.
The chili pepper spray help keep the aphids and the.
I don't know about chili pepper spray is more for the cats and the mammals that like to nibble. neem oil, what else?
Dish soap.
Dish soap, yeah, that can take care of the aphids. Snails, they just need to die. If I could put diatomaceous earth on it, which is like Sluggo,
Sluggo works pretty good.
that would take care of it. I just hate on mine.
The good
Tired
thing
of.
with Sluggo is it's basically just an iron compound. There's nothing toxic to people in it.
Okay,
They just can't handle the iron, so they eat it and they die.
yay! Oh no. Usually I just have my grandkids go around and say, hey, get a bucket of snails, and they love it. Yes?
I planted some sweet potatoes, and I got to harvest the good sized ones, and I boiled them, and they weren't sweet, so I threw them all away.
When you harvest them, they need to be in a warm place and dry out for, 2-3 weeks, where it's like 90 degrees or so. And that's the problem with our area. If we had a place that's warmer when we harvest, but it's getting cold by the time we harvest. But they need that time in order to get sweet. Heat, yeah.
After you harvest.
Sweet potatoes, yeah. You don't have to do that with potatoes. You just put them out and let them dry so that they don't mold.
You cure them, they keep a lot longer too, don't they?
Okay, I wanted to show you. I grow ginger and turmeric. Where's my ginger? This is a ginger plant. And sorry, Kim, it was turmeric I gave you. I'm so embarrassed. This is turmeric. And there's an Asian market. Is usually, sometimes you can get turmeric rhizomes at like Sprouts or Whole Foods. The only problem with most of them, just like your ginger, the poopy heads cut the growth nodes off. But if you go through carefully, you can find some that'll have a growth node. And I'm going, okay, this is going to grow. This one will grow turmeric. So eventually I want to perfect it so I get the really big plants. But these, now that I brought it in the house, starting to get dry, and I need to make it so there's a humid place for it. With a heat mat, because they like it hot and humid. But I keep anticipating we will go to war. If we do, a lot of things that we eat, I use a lot of turmeric for inflammation, and same way with ginger. I don't want to run out of my supply. That's why I'm trying to perfect growing it. Turmeric and ginger also like.
Turmeric and ginger? Do you eat turmeric and ginger for inflammation?
Yeah. Anyway, they like a lot of drainage, but you can grow them indoors. Eeks. I want to briefly. I hate this. There it is. Boop, boop.
Ginger need heat and humidity as well.
It does better, yeah.
Actually get ginger, because last year we planted some in the house, and we got a lot of the green, tall things, we were so excited, harvested them, nothing.
Again, put something in the soil that for root development, you need the green. The green will make the roots grow, but also you need something in the soil. Phosphorus, or what is that other thing? Potassium. And that's for the flowers, but
But do you do that just at the beginning, or do you do it every 2 weeks or a month, you fertilize again?
I do it at the beginning, and then I've got a chart for the different things when they need it.
So fertilizing is something that people
Yeah.
should do,
And
more than just at the beginning.
And the bigger the container, the bigger the plant's going to grow. So if you're growing something, the ones I grew in the ground got big, and I grew them near the wall where that gets hot,
And you got ginger.
and I got ginger. So again, I'm learning, but I also learned that it didn't do real well on the clay. I had to add some some organic matter so it would drain better. Some things just don't like their feet wet. Okay, I'm going to briefly, this is for another class. One way to grow indoors with less fungus gnats and stuff is hydroponically with water. And this, oopsie, sometimes, especially to get things growing, like a head of lettuce takes 1.5 gallons, 2 gallons of water. So if you have a container that big, you can grow the whole container. You don't need a pump. This is the Kratky method. Dr. Kratky developed it in Hawaii. Some great YouTube videos on this. But you fill the water till it hits just the bottom of this. You have to use something to put your, okay, like these are clay pebbles that absorb the water. I make funny noises. I don't know. I think it's from having kids. You make funny noises, they'll eat, you know. So anyway. Oh yeah. You have to wash them, which is a pain. But yes, they are. There's other things you can use. Cocoa coir. And all I would have to do is get one of my little seedlings. This is one way. I would wash it off, wash. Put it in so the bottom touches, you know, the clay just anchors it mainly. And then I would use, there's different products, but this is one of them, MaxiGrow, for a nutrient, and you use, I keep thinking, there's a little scoop. At first I use a half scoop with 1 gallon of water, and then I do a full scoop when the plant's bigger. But put it up to here. You have to have, if you just grew it like this, you'd get algae. So you have to block. And cheap socks from Dollar Tree. This is one way. I'd have the water up to there, and all I would have to do is leave it. If I wanted to, like this isn't 2 gallons, I may have to refresh, put just a little bit of water in the bottom when the roots are growing, but it gets air on top, the nutrients in the bottom, and this is a fun, if you have kids, this is a fun thing to do with kids. They love it. So, their own, you know, it is fun when kids start walking around and going, my plant, you know, it's better than pets. They don't poop. Another way to do it is by using rock wool. You can get it online or at hydroponic stores usually. You get them really wet, you put it in, put a seed in, and go through the same process.
What did you call that?
This is rock wool. Rock wool. And I brought some so you can see. It comes in a sheet like this, but it's an easy way to grow indoors. Again, a lot of the stuff needs, if you're growing tomatoes, peppers, anything that fruit, you need a lot more light.
Also, a good way to repair the roots in the bottom.
Okay, let's see what else. Now, I want to talk about microgreens too. And this is a separate class, but later you guys want to grow some of your own, you can. A lot of these things, like popcorn, you can get here at Walmart easy. Other things like the whole peas, I have to get it at an Asian store or we got them this Monday at Lily's in Mesa. but you soak them for a couple hours, overnight. And I did these. See, I got that Monday. I did this Tuesday. By Thursday, they're already getting roots. Then,
So what is that in the bowl?
these are whole peas. Sugar snap peas are really good like this. And when you a lot of times I will skip this part where I sprout them first. I just wanted to show you what they were like. I usually just soak them and then put them in the dirt. So, and it's quite thick.
Is it healthier to eat them like that?
It's most microgreens, the shoots are healthier, have more nutrition than the adult plant. Broccoli is like that. And some of them, it's higher in some things and lower in others, depending on what. But, yeah, well, and they're better for your stomach. Okay, here we go.
Kind of that thick so that they grow smaller, so they're microgreens.
With these, this is one of my grandkids' favorite, and this is why I always try to have a lot of peas. You go like this. I wait till they're about this tall. Cut them above it'll come up and there'll be leaves. You cut them right about that. You'll get 2 or 3, sometimes 4 harvests. It tastes like fresh peas. I don't know about you, but when I grow peas in the garden, we eat the fresh peas, and then I'll save peas to grow indoors. Canned peas, they're gross. They're evil. But fresh peas are great, and that's what this tastes like. And so when I do a flat, like a whole thing like this, whoopsie, I'll do a whole thing like this with soil, and I have a liner that has holes so I can drain it better. But it's so easy to grow. And even with this, where there's no hole at the bottom, usually with this, I just water it like this. And I'll get it. Peas can be covered. And they will be, when they start, they're good. I wanted to have some for you guys to try. And I even took them all the way to Minnesota and back. And we were in Colorado at night. The soil was starting to get dry. I poured a little water on. No, it was the vinegar bottle. I killed them, so you can't try any. So I need to do another class. What?
You want them this tall?
Yeah, perfect.
You can try them.
This tall or bigger. And
We're this tall.
And yeah, for this, I'm going to destroy one of your. I don't know if you want to just. They're so good. Try. I don't.
You eat the leaves?
You eat the whole thing.
Whole plant.
The whole plant.
There's no pea.
There's no pea, no, but it tastes just like peas.
Oh, that's
Isn't that amazing? Again, it's a way that during the winter you can have something fresh that's delicious. Another thing, this is my husband's favorite. And I haven't covered it with dirt yet because I wanted to show you. This is the popcorn. And I have it on paper towel right now. I want to get it in soil so it'll get a little root. The shoots, this one I have in a box. The first time I grew up where he tried it was when we were on our mission, and he opened a drawer and he went, "Where are my socks?" And I said, well, I needed a place to keep it dark the whole time, because once it starts getting green, it gets tough and bitter and changes the flavor. But when it's the yellow shoots, it's like eating fresh corn. And it's,
cut off the top two or eat them.
I cut them off. Yeah. But again,
Stay yellow.
you want them to stay yellow. Like this one, I have in the, you know, this is how thickly I sow it. You'd think, oh, that's ridiculous, but it's like growing a lawn in a way. So now I can,
Grown to the big, tall plants
For the microgreens, it's a little short.
yeah, this is just for the short, this is for growing them, you know, and this is going to take about 2.5, 3 weeks. And that, but again, I've made corn chowder with it, yes.
So you said you put it in your husband's drawer and they didn't know?
No, you want some air. Right now I have them on top of each other. With microgreens, you know, usually when you grow a plant, you want lots of light and you want them really tough stems. With microgreens, you want them a little longer. So you have them at first in the dark so they have longer stems, so it's easier to cut.
aren't most guys grow a little bit moldy?
No, my husband has very clean feet and he washes his socks.
That one doesn't have soil, but this one does.
This one is going to have, so
The corn on the plate.
I've got to do it. I just was trying to do it for an example, but
The corn for our chickens and the microgreens for them, and it really makes a big difference in nutrition.
well, in nutrition and also in the cost of the grain and stuff, yeah. And I have it like that, so if you want to bring some home, and I have some things that you can grow them in, I want an example.
So you did peas and corn, what else do you use in microgreens?
Oh man, let me get my microgreens box. Broccoli is really good, and I have radish is good, and you'll notice this, you know those scrubby things you clean with? They're great for growing on. I put them on later so they're not the way they should be, and they need several more days. And they need some dark first and then green. But radish tastes like radish. Mustard, the yellow mustard isn't as spicy as the brown mustard microgreens. Sunflowers. Oh. That's what I have in this. And usually I'll grow the black seed, but I ran out. And so this is stuff I harvested. And you'll still get good. Those shoots, they're nutty. They're really good if you saute them with a little garlic or onions. It's so good. And it's because they're so small, you saute them for like 2 seconds, you know, just and you're done.
So the sunflowers are a little thicker too. They're a little hardier than.
And then some of these, though, like, and I'm using this, I use as example because, yeah. Where is the? One of them was broccoli, and one is kale. And the tape fell off. But again, these are, I like them getting a little bigger. I wish I would have had more time so you could all try them. I need to come back and do a full course on growing microgreens.
But those,
Grow.
now at that size, you would put them in dirt again also? Or is that-
A lot of you don't have to. Sometimes it's easier, but again, when I'm growing flats of them, and then I just come by with either a sharp knife or my scissors and snip and throw them in salads. I throw them in our rice dishes and pasta dishes and bread and you name it. It's just so good.
Plant them after to get big plants.
Nope.
No.
I cut them off. That's specifically just to eat. And again, as I get older, I'm eating less. It doesn't look like it, but I eat less at a meal. And you might as well get the most nutrition you can in a small amount, and this is the way to do it. Chives is something you can grow easily, or onions you can grow indoors. Again, I've taken these from the garden because it's the time of year where you do that. when it comes, I thought I had onions somewhere. Okay. What I like doing with my onions, ooh, there's one of those red, really dark green ones. That's a truncheons. Okay, get out.
That had the phosphorus in it, right?
That. Okay. You know how at the grocery store you get green onions and you chop the end off? Let it dry about a day, stick it in dirt, and it'll continue to grow. And I use the whole, you know, I love onions, and so I have lots of I have lots of containers, and in the ground I have a lot of these growing. I just wanted to show you as an example here. Yeah.
Do you use what do you call it? You don't use the hybrid stuff, do you? You use the organic stuff? Or is it not?
I just, usually I get the cheapest seeds I can that grow well. So like this, I'll take some of the root off. I will dry this and plant it tomorrow, and I get more onions. Is that, you know? And you can do it indoors or out, but
You get several onions from that, just that little.
you just get one seed, one onion, and my husband always went, oh, that just seems wrong. But again, the more light it has, the more leaves but so I just grow lots of them.
I'm just thinking of stuff like potatoes, you cut them in half and plant them down there, you get lots of them.
The only way you can do that, sometimes you'll get an onion out and it'll split kind of like a clove, and then you'll have two. But
Unless it's a multiplier variety specifically. Oh.
yes, walking onions are a blast, and they grow outside because they grow and they get little onion bulbs on the top that's heavy that goes down, and then they grow another, and that's why they walk. They're fun.
Is that onion a regular white onion or just green onion?
I don't know if it's a white one or red one.
But
I have all
it is
kinds.
a
Yeah.
bulb onion. It's an onion.
No,
Not a
scallions, Welsh onions, there's different names. Well, they stay skinny. But if I have too many, don't have enough space to put all my onion bulbs, I just grow them closer together and have more green onions. This is, and if some you guys want to bring it home, I have been thinning my lemon balm, and this is, gosh, what is this? Okay, this is peppermint or chocolate mint. Anyway, you see these little tiny roots on it? I just cut it off the top of the plant, usually where it's soft. If it's real stiff, you're not going to get roots. But if it's bendy, I put it in water, and I did this about a week ago. Did it right after we got back from Minnesota. Like this one, it's real stiff. It's hard. I doubt if I will get roots, but I've got a whole bunch you can try. That's how you can grow. I need to do a whole class on microgreens and sprouts. And the sprout, okay. Have you mung beans you've heard of? Yes.
Like the microgreens, when you're growing your microgreens, do you always have, you have a fan on as well on all the microgreens?
I like to. I've got a bigger fan that I have on some of the stuff. This fan I use just on the smaller setup, but the more fans you can have on it, the better. Keep checking the soil so it doesn't dry out, but they're healthier. Even if you're growing plants that you'll be planting outside, if it has, if the wind is going like that, you're going to have a stiffer, stronger stem to grow. Okay, this is, and I'm almost done, I promise. Okay. This is Urad dal beans. These are mung beans, very similar, one's, different color, but I'm sure you've had bean sprouts in Chinese food and if you buy them, they're so expensive. And again, I'm cheap, so I like getting, this is just, there's different ways you can do it. They have special, I've gotten these at thrift shops. These people who have things that are incomplete, and so they sell them, and so I just put a towel over mine. But you can grow your sprouts in something like this. You just want to water it and drain it frequently. I like, same way, this one I'm sure has a bottom, but it has something with holes in it. What I like doing so that I don't forget and I can remember to water, I like taking tulle, that netting that brides wear. Well, this is a better use. And it's just one sheet. I put the seeds in. I soak the seeds for a couple hours, about 6 hours maybe. Put them in here. And I have it hanging by my, either up where the towel rack is, or when I'm really in a hurry, I just shove it in my knife rack between two knives. And that way I can, every time I come to the sink to do dishes or whatever I have to do at the sink multiple times a day, rinse it, and it grows. And so I started these Monday. It doesn't take long to grow sprouts. And you can do that with, if you do it with beans. I have beans somewhere, like, white beans, whatever beans. With the only beans you can't do that with is red kidney beans. You don't want to eat raw. If you sprout red kidney beans and cook them, you're fine. But they have a toxin in them that needs to be cooked out. Red kidney beans, I don't know about black beans, but if you sprout your beans before you cook them, they cook faster, and they can get rid of some of the tummy upset that you can have with beans. So that's why I want to mention it. Now, what's the other thing? This is stuff to try. Oh, I need to show you. This is something I've never grown indoors, but they do it all over the place hydroponically. Oh, I was like, with hydroponics, if you don't want to mess with crack key and stuff, just an air pump and an air stone, and this is just, I got it at Walmart.
Like an aquarium?
For an aquarium, yeah. You have an air stone, that'll keep air in the water in your nutrient solution, and you can grow. Now this, I don't know if you've grown strawberries before. This is a Albion, and they're huge, big. They're real, it's good variety. What I like doing is the ones that are still in my garden, and if they have this, I will put it in the soil, and I take a paper clip, unfold it, and stick it in. It'll hold it down. A couple of weeks, I'll get roots. Then I cut this, and then I have 2 plants. So I have multiplied the 5 that I've got 100 plants now after a couple of years. So, yes?
My daughter plants keep dying on me, Zach, so I'm not flipping.
Well, different reasons. It could be not enough water, too much water. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Oh,
One thing that has improved my growing this year is sulfur. It's an acidifier. I mean, it made my peppers grow better, and we have such alkaline soil here, and water, you test the water, it's real alkaline. So if you need more, and come to my house, we'll give you some of the pellets, and my husband gets 50-pound bags, and I think we're still garden missionaries, so it's like we give it to people, but that made a huge difference. It just, everything popped once I started using sulfur. There's some days we get the pellet. They almost look like somebody took a lead pencil and cut it like this. They're little. But we get an IAF in Farmington, Utah when we go through. And like I said, my husband will get 50-pound bags and we give most of it away. But again, my goal, I have a seedling sale every spring, but I sell my seedlings cheap because my goal is to get as many people as possible growing a vegetable garden. The more gardens we have here, if we have another situation where the food supply, whether it's a trucker strike, war, there's always food shortages. No matter what, the more people we have having gardens, the better off everybody is. They'll be inundated with zucchini forever. No, but it's just, it's such a good, to me, gardening is more, it's a spiritual thing. That's where I get the answers to my prayers when I'm in the garden. I think it's kind of like when I was younger, you say, who wants to help with dishes? And it's the only time as a mom you got to do something alone. Doing dishes, and also same way with gardening. Who wants to weed? I don't know anybody who doesn't like being in the garden.
Wasn't that the original job?
Bingo. I agree. Okay, I've got, this is basil. You'll notice it's getting some black marks on it from the cold, and also remember the rain we had. Well, we were gone and the irrigation water was going on, plus the rainwater, and it got a little too wet. But I'm not worried about it. I'm going to trim it back. This one is Thai basil. This is Genovese basil. I'll cut it back, and then, what is that? There's some weird plant in here. Okay. Anyway, it will be, basil is an easy thing to grow indoors. If anybody wants to try some, I've got some Genovese basil that you can put in a pot, and when things get this time, about this point, I start growing more because I can't. Indoor, it grows it's one of the best ones for growing indoors. Okay, and then I can't think of anything else.
So any suggestions for the sweet basil? Because for us, they start growing this big, then they start seeding everywhere.
If I stay on top of it, and during the summer, I just keep cutting them back, and I don't let them. I do let them start flowering, in September, because I want seeds to go on the ground and they come up by themselves. But if you keep them pruned a lot, and either eat it or dry that, and I use it for basil for tea. I also use the lemon balm. Man, grow some of that. This is so great for migraines. It's good for anything having to do with the chickenpox virus, like shingles or what we call the little, cold sores. Drink some tea and they go away immediately. It's just, but I have.
It brings bees to your garden really well too.
So does parsley. You let it go 2 years, and man. But this, I think this one. Yeah. Here, smell. It smells so good. But if you want to try growing some, you can bring some of that home too. Lemon balm. This is lemon balm. Some of these are lemon balm here. And again, it doesn't. I just cut them down. So smell that though. Is that great? For winter sowing, this has got to be another class, but this is growing in the winter. I will take, put the lid on, take my razor and I cut it like this, cut some holes in, put dirt in it. And then I put the seeds in, get it damp. This is in January, okay? Put it outside, check it once a week, make sure it's not drying out. And this year I grew poppies from seed for the first time. I grew all kinds of herbs, flowers.
Do you put the lid back, the top back on it?
What I do, some people tape it and everything. I'm lazy. I just made a little tie right here. You know, punched a hole here, and tied it. And that way I could poke it in and check on it. And it grows. So many things you can do that. One year I did this in February outside, put the seeds in and grew like lettuce, broccoli and stuff. How people don't have, and for me, with my milk jugs in front of my fireplace, I have a whole line of water. This way, I don't know if you've ever lived anywhere where the water has gotten shut off because of whatever. We have. You want to flush toilets. And so I water plants, and if we really needed to, we could have a gallon to flush toilets. So it's just one of those smart things to do that if you put water in this from the tap, no, water from the tap, the fluoride, the chlorine especially evaporates in a day or two. And this is what I water all my plants indoors and some of them outdoors too. I have a bunch of these outside. I'm cheap, I admit it. I'm not ashamed. You can't, people talk about when I thinned my carrots, I had a couple big ones, those are onions. So anyway, some tiny ones too. I put it in water, and you've heard that, you can just cut the carrot and grow. You really don't grow a carrot, but you can grow the carrot greens, and carrot greens are really good for you. I have, if you want to try, where did I put it? Some microdwarf tomatoes, plants. This is how I start them. I just put a bunch of the seeds in. These are about 4 weeks old. They stay tiny while this one is a dwarf variety and it gets a little bigger, but these stay, window box will get maybe 10 to 12 inches tall, but lots and lots of cherry tomatoes, which my greatest joy is growing tomatoes and picking them on Christmas Eve, the ones that are growing in my house.
Jeannie, do you know what variety those ones are, the micro?
This one is window box, Little Bites cherry. It's Renee's garden. This one is Rosy Falls. I don't have any of my yellow ones here. I just have got the red ones. No, I do. I have Aztec, I think. But I also grow, this is a different type of basil. This is holy basil. This is a different species than your, Genovese basil. But it has a lot of health benefits. So you can grow healthy stuff indoors. Any more questions? I mean, I know I ran through things because this is an introduction, but.
You didn't tell us about you. You and Larry both are master gardeners, right?
Yeah, I went through the Master Gardener course in Globe when we started our mission on the Navajo Nation. It was gardening mission, teaching people how to grow and preserve food. We did that for 3 seasons, but the very first season, for the first time, they offered the Master Gardening class online specifically for Northern Arizona. And Larry, went through the Master Gardening class. I went through it again because I was living farther south when I took it. And you learn so much. I mean,
So, growing tomatoes indoors, because winter's coming, is there ever a time where you ever take them outside any time when in the winter?
Well, if the temperature is above 60 degrees, sorry, for tomatoes, if it's above 50 degrees, I will take them out for a little bit, but you have to get them used to the sun. Otherwise, if you took them out, leave them out for a day, even if it was nice, they would fry. So you have to do it slowly. And this is what I do with my microdwarfs that I've grown through the winter. I slowly bring them out. Usually in March, sometimes February, I'll have days where I can do that. And slowly get them used to the sun, and then they're ready to grow. And I'm picking tomatoes like April, May, which is, I love.
When you were talking about the water,
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about the city water stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I was just trying to figure out what the difference is between that and well water. Because a lot of us are on well.
Well, if you have well water, you probably don't have the chlorine or fluoride. So
Something really don't have fluorine at all. They just have chlorine and they have a minimal amount.
yay! I didn't know that.
Well, I used to work for the Public Works Department. I know that.
Oh. Anybody who has more questions, and I know this is not in depth about anything.
Is the lemon balm aggressive root like the spearmint peppermint?
It's like spearmint and peppermint, which I don't mind at all. I like something that'll spread in Arizona. If you don't water it, it dies. But if it gets some water, it'll spread. But again, there's so many health benefits. I end up in the spring, I'll give people, dig some up, and about a third of it I'll give away, and then I have to say, oh, I can't do that anymore. I don't want to hurt my plant, and it'll always grow.
Makes rabbits go away.
I don't know. Anybody know what makes rabbits go away? Yeah, shotguns, yes.
Execute with extreme prejudice.
I don't know if they a lot of the mammals don't like the pepper spray, and I grow super hot peppers, get it in water and then spray it around. If it rains, I have to do it again, or after a while, I have to do it multiple times. But it seems to take care of the mice and gophers, any bitey things. So
Great Pyrenees are good on rabbits and gophers.
we have 3 dogs. I think that's why we don't have problems with rabbits.
Great Pyrenees. Our Great Pyrenees loves rabbits and loves to play.
Yes.
Tomato plants online, how do you get some, how often do you fertilize your tomato plants all winter long? Once a month? Or?
I use one of 2 things. I either use the hydroponic stuff, a real weak solution about every 2 or 3 weeks, or again, I love organic gardening outside, but if you do organic gardening inside, it smells like either poop or fish. I don't like that. Osmocote, I use indoors. It's kind of a granule. It's impossible to over-fertilize with this, and it goes slowly. And I do this about every 3 weeks, so.
It's time release, right? Just dissolve and dissolve.
Yeah, time release, so. You bet. And I got to shut up because he has his too. Anyway, that's, but.
Quick question for you. My soil's no good, and I'd like to plant things in my soil come springtime. What can I do during winter to get my soil ready for that?
And now we will turn it over to Eric. Sorry, I get carried away.
I do the same thing. So.
I get too excited about this. Doesn't that smell good?
It does. That's lemon balm, isn't it?
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yes, thank you, Jeannie. Okay. My name is Eric. I am not a master gardener. I've had a lot of fights with master gardeners. Yes and no. That is not a false statement. I actually went to college for horticulture and did not graduate, but that's not my fault. But I have had a lot of college education, formal education, and then as well just application and continued education, paying for different courses and traveling for different things. So it's not always sitting down learning. It's a lot of what you learn is putting your hands in the dirt and trying it out. So I've been gardening since I can remember, so forever, and always trying to. I've gone to a lot of these different classes and trainings, and what you'll find is every individual, if you're willing to listen to them, you'll find something that'll help you in your gardening and farming. So it might not be exactly how they said it, but sometimes it'll just spur a thought of, oh, that's interesting, I can try that like this. And you'll go try it, and it's like, oh, hey, I had bigger tomatoes this year. So what I kind of want to talk about was what this gentleman was asking, is how do you prepare your soil right now for the spring? So kind of even before that, right now some of you might still, if you have a garden, you probably still have plants in the ground, and they're probably getting to that point. Jeannie was talking about the basil starting to get spots on it. You're going to start seeing some of that sign of, hey, it's the end of the season. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and then how do you prep your beds so that come springtime, you're ready to plant and things are, you're not hustling and trying to get things, and you'll have, optimal soil options. So one of the things you'll see is like these spots, or the leaves will start yellowing. You'll start to see your fruit dropping. In your squashes and melons, you'll start seeing mold. As you start seeing some of these signs, don't be afraid to just take it out. Sometimes molds will linger in your soil, and that can be detrimental earlier in your plants next year. With that, also take note of where you've planted things and rotate. If you've had squash in this bed or in this row, probably rotate it, because the needs that squash has versus tomatoes are slightly different. And if you're rotating that nutrition will stay more balanced. Rather than planting squash in the same row every year, it's going to deplete that nutrition for that specific plant very quickly. And you might have, we just started this row, everything's mulched, it's happy, and every year you just plant that same squash in there, and every year you're like, why did my squash not do well this year? You might need to just rotate it so that nutrition can be balancing out. We noticed last year our tomatoes were growing great. End of the season, we finally had rain, and then our wonderful weather, the temperature just dropped and we had frozen tomatoes. You can pick that. You can pick a lot of that produce. If you look at what your refrigerator is, it's usually close to the 30-degree range. High humidity. You can pick things and save that. Even tomatoes that are green, you can put them in boxes. Keep it in a warm, dark place or not warm, cool, room temperature, but without sunlight, and check it periodically. Those tomatoes will ripen. They may not be as good as if they stayed on the vine full season, but it's way better than the grocery store. So take advantage of that. We picked about 50 pounds of tomatoes last year when we had that rain and then it frosted. All our tomato plants froze. I got home from our plant cell in the valley, and that night I got home about 6 o'clock and I picked till about 9. And I picked about 50 pounds of green tomatoes. And we were able to use most of those tomatoes. We made fresh pico salsa, we freeze dried it, we bottled it, we used the heck out of it. So there's lots of options that you can use. Okay, you've kind of rotated. One thing, depending on how you are growing, I've started to do kind of more of the no-till method. Instead of pulling plants out, if you're cutting them off at the ground, that root mass will stay in the soil and it will break down. And as those roots break down, that creates air pockets in your soil that will maintain that sponginess. And then your microbes are staying active, they're not being disrupted, and they'll be a lot more vigorous the next season. One of the things, regardless of tillage or not, after you've cut, top dress your soil. Put 2, 3, 4 inches, as much as you can, mulch or compost down, manure. It's a great time to put manure down. If you put manure down, put that on the soil surface. That way that as you have rain and snow, that's going to be leaching and blending out as the season goes through. Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. There's a lot of people with no-till. They'll go and they have what's called a flail mower, and it will just pulverize shrubs even. And it'll just put that matter down on the ground, and then compost, mulch, manure, all of that's green matter that you just pulverized, and it will turn into soil, it'll turn into nutrients for your microbes.
So, like out in our area where we've got all the grass and stuff,
Mhm.
that work?
Anything. Organic matter is organic matter. You break it down, it's going to benefit your soil.
Okay, so in our place, what I'm doing is I'm getting, we're growing tumbleweeds like crazy, so I'm just getting them and throwing them in a pit. So that's, you said organic, so I guess I'm on the right track?
The only thing with tumbleweeds and things like that are seedy, you want to make sure that that will cook. If we're going into winter, you might not want to do tumbleweeds per se, unless you have a way of really heating that up and killing that seed bank. Yeah, you want it to be, just an example, we put pine needles in our chicken coop as bedding. We rotate that out once a month, water it really well. We'll turn it, water it in a big pile. We've had it get up to 160 degrees. That heat will cook and neutralize that seed and make it not viable. That would be the only thing that I would say. If you have weeds that are seedy, maybe avoid some of that unless you're able to do that cooking process. But
What if you torch it and burn it and use the...
you have to be able to guarantee that the seed gets to a certain temperature. A lot of times if you're torching, it's a faster process, and sometimes that will actually activate it to grow. So it's an amount of time in that cooking process that it needs to reach.
Might be better off just to use some straw to get your organics in there. And
Yeah, you could.
We didn't know till we used broad fork.
Yep, you can use broad fork.
That broad fork drops that nutrients in without.
Even in no-till,
Swapping that's what we were doing.
even in no-till, they'll use the broad fork because it'll loosen the soil but not disrupt your microbes as much.
It doesn't change the layers like a
Right.
a
tiller
does.
Yep.
We never tilled.
Yep.
We never tilled.
So, but yeah, definitely put down that nutrients.
On the topic of tilling, I want to move my garden into my front yard, and I dig down about 6 inches anywhere in the front yard, and I've got a bank of clay.
Yep.
So, would it be worthwhile, since I'm in the beginning stage of creating this new garden, would it be worthwhile to till that up?
Definitely.
Or just build on top of it?
So even any of the people that you follow for no-till, when you're starting something, they till. They're breaking it up, they're establishing. So, and then they transition into that non-tillage. But even with that, they'll still have, a lot of them will have tilthers that just fluff that top inch or two of the soil, but they're leaving the subsoil, all those microbes that are deeper, they're leaving those alone so that they can come back up.
And you could also plant daikon radishes. You can plant things, turnips. You can plant things that will go down 3 or 4 feet in the soil and break up that clay leather layer, and then they'll decompose, and that helps break up your soil too.
There's a lot of different types of cover crop that will break up that pan. The daikon radishes, they're kind of gnarly. Look into that. They can get big and like 3, 4, or 5 feet long. Daikon radish, daikon.
Yeah, you just
I know some people will eat them,
yeah,
but what will happen is they'll winter kill, and then they'll rot, and it'll leave this big old void in the ground that then your other nutrition is falling down in it, but it's aerating and breaking up that
some
pan.
turnips will do that. You can get turnips that are for animal crops will do the same thing.
Right.
Turnips will do that same.
Right.
As
We'll
the
go here and-
shell, we have rock.
Right. It's that
And
caliche.
we have to,
But as the water goes down and interacts with that soil, and then those roots go through, it's like water on concrete in the snow. It'll crack it, and it'll get through it.
somebody said to put barn lime.
Yeah, that could break it up too. It's more of a chemical reaction. But then you're worried about what's that doing to your soil that you have to balance out later.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If my thought is if you can do it naturally with plants, that's only going to improve the soil. Even if it's not breaking it up a whole lot, it'll be improving that. And as you're stacking and getting that organic matter on the surface, it's going to be improving that soil structure and bringing it up. So, hold on. This guy had a question.
Well, I was gonna say, we took an auger.
Okay.
We had a whole, we have 40 acres and a lot of it was just bare land out there and that caliche. Just augered through it and started and
Busting
made
it
a
up.
plot like that and planted in the augered holes so it pushed through where the water would drain to
Gotcha.
the clay, and we could put a lot less nutrient soil on that entire plot and get our whole crop out of it.
Gotcha.
And that worked out really
Cool.
well this year. It's kind
Yeah.
of like the prairie grass works, because it
Oh, okay.
does a natural hole in the ground, and then the natives used to do the hole with the Three Sisters
Right.
thing too.
Right.
Saves that room, use it for like a pot. You know?
Right. Yep.
On the no-till, what do you feel about using cardboard boxes? Is that chemical in there or not?
As long as it's not the shiny cardboard, as long as it's the dull, regular, just straight cardboard, that's what most people recommend because there's not those inks and things in that. The ink is where you find that toxicity. Yes, Eric?
What about raised, like, we've just got a little raised garden.
Raised bed, I say, raised beds you want to treat just like you would your natural soil. You want to be adding nutrition every single season, and then through the season fertilizing. It's no different than your natural soil. It needs to be replenished. You think you have that? I know a lot of people are like, yeah, it's still black, it's still good. Well, yeah, but you just grew plants in it, and those plants pulled nutrition out. If you're not putting something back in, you have a deficiency.
So if we plant turnips or whatever you were talking about.
Those are mostly for breaking down the hard pans, is what those are used for. If you're wanting to improve that, there's different cover crops, your legumes, clover, they fixate nitrogen, and then they'll either winter kill or summer kill, and then you're just cutting them off at the surface. A lot of times they're pulverizing that and putting it back on the surface so it can break down, and that's a combination of the foliage breaking down on the surface and the roots underneath. The combination of both of those is what gives you your nutrition.
Is it too late to plant those things now?
Depends on the variety. There's a number of sites that you can go to, and they'll specify, but there are a lot that do well through the winter.
Right
They'll,
now, my fava beans grow
Yeah.
like crazy. That's another one, and that, once they're done, I can get beans off, but then I'll just put the plant on the ground and it'll.
lay the stalk down and let it decompose. But yeah, there are a number of plants that you can still plant, because it's still plenty warm during the day. The soils, a lot of it's your soil temperature. So as that soil temperature comes down, that's going to limit your germination. But if you can get it germinated, a lot of those winter cover crops will still grow. They'll go dormant or slow down growth. And then once spring comes, depending on which one it is and what you're trying to achieve, they'll come back in the spring when it warms up. They'll go, and then some of those die in the summer with heat. Some of them you have to crimp down and kill them. But yeah, there's a lot of different stuff out there. Yes?
If we have mold on our squash plants, do we rip them out, cut them off? And move
At this point of the year, if you have mold, I would take them out. Mine have mold, and I'm like, I just don't have time to do anything about it.
So do I compost with them or just chuck it?
Most people say no.
Yeah.
If you're rogue like me and you don't care, you throw it into your chickens or just till it under. I guess I don't till anymore, so I guess I wouldn't do that. I used to do that. It's like, it's dead. Just mow it in. But most everything, I just throw it to my chickens. And if they don't eat it, it'll just get rotated out with the next time we change our bedding out, and it goes in the pile, it cooks. Some people say if you have that and you're doing processes correctly, the microbes will break it down and you don't have to worry about it. I haven't tested that out fully. It kind of scares me a little bit, but I'm also lazy. So I've got plenty of mold out there. But it's been interesting is a lot of times the mold will spread to your tomatoes and other plants. It hasn't. So that tells me my tomatoes are doing really well because they're able to suppress that. And it's not even, I have one variety that I know can do it because it's been genetically bred for that, but then my others are heirloom and they're also resisting it. So there's something going well, and something I did. I don't know what it is, but
Do we need to, like our garden's getting a lot more shade right now. Do we need to move it
further out.
So if you have boxes that you can move, as the sun changes, because it's dropping, because it's winter, try to move that to somewhere that it can get more sunlight. Because if it's in the shade, shade equals cold, sun equals warm. So if it's able to get some sunlight, it will warm it up and you'll have better success. Yes?
So I need to add soil in some boxes that were already there. Like, where's a good place to get some soil that's kind of already existing?
The best soil that I've seen personally was at In Bloom Nursery. I know Christopher's Nursery in Pine Top has decent soil, but In Bloom, they had a big for their landscape install stuff. Long term, we're trying to create that for people with our chicken rotation. We have a number of piles that long term, we'd love to have that available for people because it's just so much better. Yes?
Go ahead.
You can get topsoil with mulch added to at Perkins.
Yes. It's kind of wild card. I've talked to different landscapers and people that have used that, and they'll take soil and manure. It's not usually very well finished. It's pretty crude. It can work. It's a good filler, but I mean, this time of year, it probably would be okay because it can be sitting all winter, but it's still pretty coarse. I've seen a few of those that people have made, and I'm not impressed. But I also have a very high standard if you're going to be selling it to me.
Where is
What's that? In Bloom is in Pine Top. So yeah, it's not close.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit further.
Do they deliver?
I'm not sure if they could. I didn't get a chance to talk to them about it, but I mean, give them a call.
Yeah.
But yeah, them and Christopher's. I mean, I usually will get stuff from even Home Depot, and I'll mix up kind of my own. I'll add perlite and coconut, or not coconut, perlite. You can use coconut coir or vermiculite or peat moss is good. I usually do a peat moss, perlite, and compost mix for all of my starts, and it's worked really well.
For that, pay attention to Walmart, Lowe's and stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, that's when I get it because it's clearance.
It goes in a day though. It's like 2 hours and it's all gone.
Well, I found
Yep.
a Facebook group, Snowflake, Arizona Victory Gardens. When I find out about it after I've gotten mine, I let people know. So,
Yeah, I saw your post when I got home for the day at 10:30, and I drove by Walmart, and there was like a label.
I have people calling me say, hey, can you? So
And I knew you had it, but I left you alone.
I bought it for them, and then they came and got
Right.
theirs and paid me, so.
I had no anger. It's okay.
I think the best value for making soil is a milk cow.
Okay.
For a homestead, because then you got the milk that you can make into chicken food. You
Yep.
make your own cheese. You got raw milk that's really good for you, and you got your own source of
Manure.
See, cow manure is so. I don't recommend horse to anybody because it grows the big grub worms.
I've seen that in
And, where cow
even with my
manure
chicken.
doesn't do that nearly as bad.
So my question is, I've been told that mixing sand in with the is really helpful.
We have enough sand. It blows in, Eric.
If it's a clay hard pan, it helps break up the clay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a lot of clay, sand can help. But really, so if you look, I have 2 little jars over here. One thing that everybody should do if you're doing natural soil, take a mason jar, fill it halfway full of soil, and then put 2 or 3 drips of dish soap in it, and then fill it up to the top. Shake it for a couple minutes, and then just set it on the table. Let it sit for a couple days. The particles will separate. Your heaviest particles are sand and rocks. That'll drop to the bottom. Your next layer will be silt. Silt is what everybody's really wanting. And then your top layer will be clay. Ideal perfect soil is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I haven't seen it yet. But doing this, it doesn't tell you the nutrition of your soil, like where your NPK is, but it will tell you your structure. This will tell you, hey, I've got a lot of rocks, I've got a lot of sand. That means your drainage is going to be great. But if you have a lot of drainage and not a lot of silt or clay, water's going through your soil fast. It's hard to maintain that moisture. Flip side, if most of what you have is clay, clay has a great quality of holding water, which when you're trying to dry out your field is horrible.
Well, why I was asking is, like on our property, we've got, right in the middle, we've got, I guess you'd call it a wash basin where the
Right.
river used to dead end at, and that's very, very sandy.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Take a sample, and you might have to do it in different places, but if you already have a lot of sand in where you want to put your garden, you don't need to add anything. What you might need is just more organic matter to bring that balance back into your soil. You know, bring manure in, bring mulches, and that'll balance it out. As that breaks down, that's going to create more of that silt and loam. I mean, those 3 and third parts, the perfect soils of the loam, and that's a balance between the 3. So check this out. It's kind of cool to look at, and you can see it's very distinct. You can see those layers. It's like somebody drew a line in there, and that helps you kind of know what you need to do to improve that structure that you have.
But don't shake it now or nobody else can look at it.
Yeah, wait till later. I was going to mention just a few things. Jeannie covered it really well. This is the time of year, if you're planting outdoors, get your onions in, get your garlic in, okay? This is the time. End of October, beginning of November is kind of your window. They will kind of go dormant through the winter, and then in spring when it warms up, they'll pick back up and keep going. And usually by summer, midsummer, you've got bulbs, and you'll know they're ready when the tops drop. And yes?
Where did you get your onion seeds?
My onion seeds, I get most of mine. I have catalogs over here from Johnny's Seed. That's where I get mine. But you can get them from Walmart. You can get them from Home Depot. You can get them from anywhere. But for what I use, I get mine from Johnny's. I've been happy with them.
So the seedlings,
The seedlings,
yes.
you can get those through catalogs too. But Ace Hardware, Home Depot, all those places will have them in the spring. But if you're wanting to do it through the winter, you have to start them from seed and do it.
Explain to her long season and short season onions.
Yes.
It's
There are
long day-
differences.
Long day and intermediate day and short day, because a lot of the onions you get at the big box store, I called the company, they're in Idaho, I asked what kind, they're long day. Well, you need like 15 hours of daylight, and where we live, in that latitude, you don't have that. We have a much shorter thing. So ours, if you get intermediate day, they will bulb up, because otherwise you get onions that just don't get very big.
I've done the long day, but planted them now, and they've bulbed up nice.
Okay.
But they also had the full time to get it. So, you know, it's,
So the tiny seeds we can plant right now, or like you have to.
if you want to start seeds, you probably want to start them about a month ago. I started them in my greenhouse and then transplanted them into cells that I'll now transplant out. But if you're doing the cloves of garlic, you put those in now. Yes.
So we've got just a little garden. If we move it out in the sun and put some windows over it at, you know, kind of.
That would warm it up, and you could probably germinate with that over the next month or two. Yes.
When I go to Tractor Supply and I get the little bulbs of onions, they don't really do.
I don't like those. I don't like those. The bulbs themselves,
Yeah.
they
They're gonna go to seed right away.
they want to go to seed because they've already grown and gone dormant. So the next thing they want to do is reproduce.
So it's best to get the
So-
ones that already got the.
They have the sets that are just little pencil size or smaller that are living. Those do very well, but you also have to watch if they're long day or short day, because you usually will plant those in the spring is when those are available, and your window for growth is short. Where if you're doing seeds in the fall and transplanting them in, they have a little bit of growth, go dormant. They're already established where those other ones aren't established. They'll wake up in the spring with the weather, and it'll be warm days, and they'll grow a little bit, and then they'll kind of go dormant at night when it is cold, but they'll be growing. and then as soon as it's warm, they'll explode, have their full growth, go to well, hopefully they don't go to seed because that kind of ruins your bulb, but the tops will drop, you'll have a nice bulb and you'll be happy.
Yeah, but
So.
when mine go to seed, I let them go to seeds, and then
They
I
just
just
eat
go
them.
like this, throw them all over, and then they come up.
Yep.
So basically what you're saying is go to your house about 1:30 when you're at work and your kids are at school and pick them out of your garden.
And hope Vaughn's not home and he shoots you. I have a paid guardsman that lives upstairs. He's usually armed.
I'll take him some ice cream.
Yeah, that might get him. Sweeten him up.
I'm kidding.
He's diabetic. Just,
Then I'll take him some cookies that are not.
anyway.
I'm kidding.
Anyway, I'm trying to think. Well, let me just say this. So I talked about pine needles. We also have a bunch of trees, not sycamores, but the cottonwoods. We have a bunch of apple trees. We will rake up our leaves as they drop. Hopefully we beat the wind to it and we actually collect them. But we'll put that over our strawberries. We'll put that, if we have carrots that we planted late summer, we'll put that over that. That creates a little bit of a buffer from the freezing weather. And with carrots, your sugars will drop out of the stems and go down in the root. Your carrots will just be so sweet. It will protect your strawberries. We'll rotate it through our chicken coop. The chickens will eat some of the leaves. It's good bedding, and we rotate it out and we compost it. Just take advantage of the free. People will have bags sitting out on the side of the road. I stop. I'm not too proud. I will, even in the summertime. We'll go to our cabin, the family cabin, and I'll take my dump trailer. You have to rake all the pine needles away from the cabins. I bring dump trailer loads of pine needles home, and everybody says, "Eric, you're crazy. You can't use pine needles for anything." I have bags over here. Look at this stuff. It's amazing. The first bag is just pine needles. The second bag is what we rotated out of the chicken coop, and the third bag is 2-month-old, rotated 5 or 6 times with water, mostly broken down. The broken down stuff, that's what we've been top dressing on our garden for the last year, and it's been amazing. We don't till it in. We just put it across the top when we're ready to plant, cut a little hole, plant into it. It's been phenomenal. So you can do a lot with a little, but you do have to have a little to do a lot with.
So we could just go up to the forest area out here and rake up.
I'm not sure. I don't know if the Forest Service would have a problem with that or not, but
For $40, you can get 2 trailer loads.
is that what it is? You can get a permit? Okay. I've never had to worry about it because we had access, but
So when I talked to the forestry department, they said that most of the time, because it helps prevent fires,
right.
they'll let you just go do it.
It's essentially doing a control burn without the burn.
They'll let you go do it, but like somebody like me that's disabled, for $40, if I just drive a trailer up there, they'll load the trailer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or,
And there are places,
they'll,
Sholo has a dump site for green waste, and I haven't gone to talk to them yet, but I'm assuming that a lot of those places you probably could go to, and even if it's something you pay, it's probably pretty minimal because they're bringing that stuff in by the shipping container. It's massive.
Yeah, we used to, the green storage up in Utah, they make bark out of it.
Mhm.
And you could just go get the trailer load of bark. It was
Yeah.
about $10 a yard for the bark, and they'd load it up. And I used to get straw. In
Okay.
the fall, I'd get straw and bales of straw and put it on a pallet, wait until it rained 2 or 3 times on it, then throw a tarp over it. Then
Compost
the
it.
next morning, or the next spring, it was almost composted down.
Right.
And then just put it in layers 4 or 6 inches and just cover my garden over
Yeah.
it and plant right in that. Kept the weeds down, and the earthworms came up and got that straw and it broke
Ate it up.
everything. Oh, they loved it.
We do that with grass clippings in the valley.
Yeah.
Put them in black trash bags, set them in the sun for 2 hours. As hot as it is there, and it's just mush. Good stuff. Yeah.
Can you grow, like, say we wanted to take 2 acres and grow hay, will that work for the?
Yeah, alfalfa has a lot of nitrogen in it. It's a legume. So,
Got to water for it.
yeah. I've seen people, it's the poor man's potato planting. They'll put potato sets out on top of their row, take the rolled alfalfa or straw, roll it over the top, and they'll grow potatoes like that, you know, and they'll just go back when they're ready. They'll roll the hay back, and there's their potatoes sitting right there.
And a bale,
So
bale growth.
they'll grow in bales too.
I heard
Yeah.
junipers, we have a lot of junipers where we are. Do they attack anything growing? Do we need to get rid of that, or is that their needles, you know?
As long as you're breaking the needles down, I mean, because they get so thick, I mean, they do have a lot of toxicity in the leaves themselves. But if you're composting that and breaking it down, it's just the same as anything else. In its raw form, it's not good, but if you break it down correctly, it'll be fine.
Some of that stuff though is more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, some of it's pretty coarse.
You're better off to get rid of it and get something that's more suitable.
Right.
than
But I mean,
try
people
to
have said that about pine needles.
Yeah.
And,
you've got
but
chickens.
junipers,
You've got
I do.
chickens. I mean, you've got a.
We have a
different
system that
process. If
we've worked out.
Everybody doesn't have a herd of chickens to help break it down.
Right.
And then you also compost it for 2 or 3 months, and
Right.
that's quite a process,
Yep,
you know.
To compost it, do you just pile it up?
we just pile it up.
Throw a tarp over
Nope.
it or something?
We just pile it up.
Water.
So the trick with doing that process is you don't want it to be too wet. You also, once it dries out, it's kind of, I watched an article or listened to a podcast. The guy would literally just dunk the material in a bucket of water and then stack it. Because everybody always wants to know how much. I usually just have a 5 or 6 year old out there with a garden hose and say, spray right there. And they're happy to be spraying. And as long as they only spray right there and not spraying me, I've got a few of them. But they'll just spray the spot and I'll turn the pile over into it. And that's enough. You know, full blast, jet stream. So just spray it right there. And I just turn it over, flipping the pile.
You gotta turn that pile over 3 or 4 times. If
Yes.
you're disabled, you're not
Well,
out there turning the pile over.
And I have, you can get little thermometers that are like 24 inch, and you keep that in there because your temperature has to come down. If it's still hot, there's still stuff that needs to break down in that pile.
You should have so much green and so much brown. I mean, if you build a real compost.
If you build a real one, I cheat. My green is the manure coming from the chickens.
That's the secret.
On the note of junipers, my brother lives a little bit outside of town. He has junipers all over his property. And he went, he put a garden next to some of them, and he had to water it like every day. And he come to find out, junipers can soak up to 10 to 40 gallons of water a day. So he ripped all of them out of his property. And now his garden, he's only watering his garden like once a week.
We had a huge juniper next to ours in the valley, and my great aunt, whose house it was, she planted it. She just bought this little thing at the nursery for Christmas, and the thing was like 50 feet tall. It was massive, and we trimmed it up so we could do our garden underneath it. And I just raked all those needles out and just tilled them in. It grew fine for me. But we tilled it in. You know, we tilled it in and waited a month so it could break down a little bit, and then we just planted into it. But yeah, it did take a lot of water. That's interesting.
I'd say steel water, but whatever. I'd be pretty good.
Okay.
Get a well.
Solar well. It'll work for you. What else do we want to know? I think really the biggest thing I wanted to emphasize was as your plants are starting to get diseased and wearing out, take them out. Cover your soil so that way it can break down and be ready for spring. And then if you do till, you can just do a light till. If you don't want to do the till, just cut into it. That nutrients and the microbes will come up and the worms will come and break that down for you. They'll take it down in the soil. All you have to do is cut into it. Top dress again after you plant in the spring.
Do you know where we can get a hold of, like, the way we've got our garden in that metal container? Can we get some worms to help? Do you know where we can get a hold of some worms that we can mix in there to help?
Make a pile in your yard of mulch. Wait 2 months. Dig underneath it. There'll be worms. Guarantee you. They'll be there.
Build the soil and
They'll be there.
They'll come.
Get a bucket, like I
Because even,
worms from someone else's garden.
yeah, even in my yard, in the back corner when we moved there, it was desert. And I just started putting down mulch and turning it. You go out there and people are like, wow, you must have spent hundreds of dollars on worms. And I'm like, no, I just mulched it, turned it, the worms will come. They'll be there. But like you say, in boxes, it's,
Build it and they will come.
yep, give them something to eat.
We take the kids worming, tell them how to worm. Watermans are happy to get rid of more worms so the grass looks flatter.
Come to my house after the sprinklers go in the evening.
After my patio, you come on my patio.
Yes.
Could you give us a sort of breakdown of like different kinds of manure, what kind you like?
Okay. So the question is, what kinds of manures are good? So, starting at the bottom, horse manure. It's very coarse. When you think of animal systems, the more broke down the material is, the more available nutrients you'll have for your plants. Okay? Horses, I think they only have one stomach or two stomachs. It's basic. When it comes out, it almost looks exactly the same as when it went in. Okay? It's very coarse.
A lot of seeds.
A lot of seeds. They don't break it down. You look at cows and alpacas, it comes out, it's a lot finer. Okay? It's a lot better. You get it, well, goats, rabbits, cows, sheep, any of your ruminants,
Be careful, it's a lot hotter than you think, it takes a lot longer to break down.
but it's still good.
We learned that on the reservation, they put some on one place in the community garden. It took 3 years before they could.
Really? Okay.
Gotta be careful.
Watch out for sheep. But most ruminants,
Goats are hot.
they'll break it down.
Those are hot hot goats with pellets and you could use them right away.
They'll be hot.
It's a little bit hot.
Use too much of them, they'll be hot. Goats.
Yeah.
The only ones you can use pellets right away are llamas and alpacas. You can take it right out of
Yeah.
their butts.
Too, can't you?
Rabbits
You,
will be hot.
you can use rabbit. It's a little more broken down too. But the best that I'm just learning about the alpaca, that you can put it down. That's, you can put it straight in. But chicken is really good as well because they have a complete system, and so you have the urea with the other nutrients. It will be hot, but a little bit of chicken goes a long way. We had a virgin soil in the valley that we were breaking. It was where a house had been. We put down we were cleaning out our coop, and we just put a sprinkle down and tilled it in. Nothing else. No other organic matter. It was rocky, from where a foundation had been. I mean, we planted peas in it, but man, that grew amazing. The next row was carrots. They grew great too. So that's kind of what I found. Your
A lot of nitrogen.
Your poultry is going to be really fine for putting down, but make sure you age it. But if you put it down this time of year and you're planting into it in the spring, it should be perfectly fine. Should be perfectly fine. So
We had pine shavings in our chicken coop, but the pine shavings are not good to put in the.
if you have it with your chicken, so the coarser the material is, the longer it'll take to break down. If you were just to put pine shavings out, your microbes are going to actually pull nutrients out of the soil because they need it to have the energy to break that coarse material down. If you're adding the poultry with it, that will give them some of that they won't be depleting it too much, that it should balance it out depending on the ratio.
So I could put it
But
down now.
But if you're putting it down now,
Till it in a little. Okay.
till it in lightly, it would be breaking down at that point. Maybe not completely, but it should balance
It's not
that
gonna
out.
take too much
Right.
nitrogen 'cause okay.
Right. Also, with that, I don't know if any of you have learned anything about biochar. Now would be a good time to do that. If you're putting down just coarse biochar, that's if you're to take anything organic and start burning it and then suppress the oxygen and just have that charcoal, it will lock nutrients into it that will be available to plants for a long time. But the initial time you apply it, if you're not inoculating it with some kind of nutrients, it will pull that nutrients out of your soil, and that's a detriment. So a lot of people that use it and don't know, and they're putting it down raw, that first season, that first year, their plants do horrible because it's pulling that nutrients rather than giving it. But once it has it, if you're to inoculate it with some kind of fertilizer, there's places on the planet where people will just urinate on it. That's a source of urea and nutrients. You can use that. I don't recommend it, but it's something you can do. But the biggest thing is inoculating it with some kind of nutrients so that when you put it down, it's not pulling it from your soil, and then it will make that available to your microbes, and it's all beneficial.
It also helps
Yes. It's like this magic, all-around, happy goodness thing that they're finding works really well. Yes, Amber?
I have a question. We just decided to make this other big area of like in-ground garden. We've been using raised beds, but we wanted to make another bigger spot. So we got a whole bunch of alpaca manure from our neighbor and we're gonna mix that in. And then what would help it get going faster if I put like a winter cover crop, or should I get a whole bunch of thick mulch and put it over that?
Either one. So what the cover crops will do is you're growing that organic matter that then you can chop and drop and make available. And then a lot of people will take that and tarp it to help it break down faster. And then that's what creates that. Or if you don't have that option of growing it, putting down that mulch, and that's essentially that organic matter that you're just bringing in. So the biggest thing is you want that organic matter to improve that soil structure. So depending on what you're trying to achieve, if you have the option of growing it, that can be nice because you're creating that root base that's going to help your soil that way. But if you don't have the time and energy to do that, bringing it in works really well. So it's essentially the same thing, but just depending on what you have time for and means to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a really dry winter, you need to get a little bit of moisture in it too.
Yes. I was going to say that. I've seen so many people lose plants like shrubs and trees through the winter because last winter we didn't get anything. And it's hard because it's cold, but there'll be days where it warms up enough, but then you have to re-winterize your system if that's what you're doing. But take advantage of warm days. I've watered my grass and had people be like, hey, your sprinklers are on, aren't you worried it's going to freeze? Well, yeah, it'll freeze tonight, but you see how dry it is? I'm going to lose my apple trees if I don't water today. You know, it's been 2 months since anything has fallen out of the sky. The ground is dry. It's cracking. We need something. So,
And you can use a surface sprinkler and just walk the hose out.
right. So be aware. You know, our winters are weird.
The apple tree, the leaves that fall off the apple trees and like lemon trees and stuff work really good for compost.
Yes. Anything that falls off your tree, leaf-wise, it's good. So, yeah. Collect leaves. We rake them up and pile them up, stack them next to the chicken coop, and then just rotate them through. It's great. Or just put them around your plants if you can keep it from blowing away. They'll just, the next moisture you get will just kind of wet them down and mold them down, and then they'll just decompose. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Or put it in a row, till it in, and water it in, and then it won't blow away. I've done that too.
You can make that, the
Yeah.
quicker it'll break down.
One thing with that, I've seen people they'll fill a trash barrel full of leaves, they'll take a weed whacker, stick it down in there full blast, pulverize it. It's like a blender.
Or run it through a shop vac.
Or through a shop vac, yeah.
Suck
Just,
it up through a shop vac and it just shreds it.
Yep.
And dump that on your garden.
there's a lot of things. And so it'll make those leaves a lot smaller, and then they're not blowing away, and they'll decompose a lot faster. So, yeah, thank you for that. That reminded me of that.
Yeah, I just pick them up in the yard with my shop vac.
Mhm.
And that way they grind them up and then they're in the bottom of the shop vac, dump
Right.
them on the garden.
And if
Yep.
grandkids use the shop vac, it's even better.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, because then you don't have to do it. when you hear the shop vac screaming, you know it's time to swap it out.
Keep the nozzle a little bit off the ground so it sucks up the leaves and not
Not all the dirt.
the gravel and
That's complete compost then, though.
it is, but.
You just got to put it back down.
Blades. But yeah, that breaks it down.
Okay. Any other questions? I think that's pretty good. We wanted to do something so that people would have information.
Want some cuttings that I've got, or try growing some of those peas and stuff, or corn, or have at it. I got dirt and stuff, and,
Yeah. We'll try to do another one of these another time and get you some more details on some of these other things so Jeannie can have the whole night.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You did good. But thank you for coming, guys. It's always nice to get information out there. I like having people learning because we all have something that we've done and have something to contribute. So I know a lot of good stuff, but I appreciate learning from all of you too. So no one person has all the information. You know, as we work together as a community, we'll only get stronger and, you know, be able to achieve better things. So thank you for all your input and
Thank
questions. Thank you.
I forgot to mention that these are Greek yogurt cups. My husband loves Greek yogurt. I put holes on the bottom, and this is an old t-shirt. Get water, well, I don't have much water because we were traveling. I didn't want it to spill all over. But water on the bottom. That's how I self-water it. And so I could be gone for almost 2 weeks, and my plants didn't die because, so. If you want to try.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Come and ask questions and get some cookies.